Yes, fight fans, this is Body and Mind Sports. Welcome. You are fully appreciated if you are here for another session of boxing talk. And in this round, I will be covering the Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois fight, guys. This fight is actually happening tomorrow, people. I'm scheduled for the 21st of September, which is tomorrow. Riyadh season coming to British soil, to London's very own Wembley Stadium, guys. And Wembley Stadium is a big stadium. The crowd is going to be going crazy. As you know, British fans, we love boxing. I don't think there's any other group of people that love boxing as much as British fans. Maybe aside from the Mexicans, you know, who pride themselves in warriorhood, and of course, boxing is a very modern day representation of that. But one thing I have to say though is that going into this fight, of course, Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois fighting for the IBF title. Dubois fighting to retain the title. Anthony Joshua fighting as a challenger. And we know why Dubois is in possession of the IBF title, guys. The IBF up to their old tricks. Again, typical sanctioning body behavior, guys. After stripping Usyk, who was undisputed, and then after the stripping of the IBF title, now unified champion in the heavyweight division. And we know why they stripped Usyk of that title and gifted it to Daniel Dubois. And anybody can figure it out if they know how boxing really works, if they know the history of the IBF. And I figure they stripped Usyk because they don't want to miss out on this very big fight in a stadium that's is gonna hold easily over 90,000 people. That is money, guys. That's money talking to the IBF, because the sanctioning bodies, including the IBF, collect 3% of every fight purse in which their title is represented and challenged for. So they collect 3%. So the bigger the revenue collected in the fight, the bigger the fight purse equals bigger payout for the IBF, equals a bigger percentage payout for the IBF. And they don't want to miss out on a payout that is going to come from 90,000 plus people. And that's just the short of it, guys. But what I really want to talk about in this fight is who is going to win. Is it going to be Anthony Joshua or Daniel Dubois? Now, I've set out, a list of criterias in which I'm going to judge the two fighters on and see how they stack up with each other, guys. So let's go through it. The first one, strength and conditioning. Both are big guys. Very physically strong guys. Both Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois. However, I do feel that Anthony Joshua is the bigger of the two. He's even taller and has a longer reach than Dubois. But Dubois maybe, may have more stamina and possibly have a bigger tank, guys, that can run for longer, that can go the full course of the 12 rounds if need be. I've seen fights where Anthony Joshua has had stamina issues. I've not really had that so far with Daniel Dubois. I've not seen that so far with Dubois, or maybe I've just missed it. But I feel in the Usyk fight, both fights, Anthony Joshua just looked like he didn't have any more to give stamina wise, and he's very, very muscle bound, not natural muscle, but muscle that he has bulked on top from vigorous training, weightlifting in the gym. And we know how muscle bound people, how fighting, boxing, any strenuous activity affects them. It causes the muscles to tighten up after a while and just starts cramping up and slowing them down. I've never seen Dubois with that issue. I believe his muscles, he's also quite muscle bound, but I believe he's just a little bit more natural than Anthony Joshua's. Yeah, so in that one, strength and conditioning, I don't know, guys. It might be even, guys. I believe it might be even, but I'm sort of edging a little bit to Dubois, although Anthony Joshua, I believe, is the stronger fighter here. However, I do believe Dubois' conditioning might be slightly better. I mean, I've seen him go full 10 rounds with Big Baby Miller, and in that fight, Big Baby Miller was pushing Dubois back all day, didn't let Dubois rest. Dubois was moving around all night and lasted not even any sign of him running out of gas in that fight. So I think I will give it to Dubois, because Miller is not a small guy, despite him being called Big Baby Miller. He is not a small guy, about 300 pounds or over. That is a living human rhinoceros, guys. But let's move quickly to the second criteria, which is durability and resistance. So not too sure on this one either, but I'm going for AJ, seen as I've seen him go down and get up and keep going. I saw him go down against Klitschko, got up, kept going, and won that fight. And with it, I believe he got a title in that fight also. But yeah, AJ went down against Klitschko and got up, kept going, and won the fight in the 12th round, guys, via a KO win. So he got Klitschko out of there with a stoppage. But I must add that back then AJ was a much younger fighter. So as you get older, your durability kind of wanes a little bit. So I have to take that into consideration also. Dubois, though, also quite durable. I've seen him go down 2 or 3 times versus Kevin Lerena, who is a South African fighter, and come back to win, guys. He actually came back to win that fight, beating Lerena also via stoppage, guys. So if that's not durable, I don't know what to call it. However, I must add that Lerena is one of the smaller heavyweights, and and he's knocking down Dubois 3 times. So I have to consider that also. You should not be ragdolling Dubois like that to be able to knock him down 3 times, coming up as a cruiserweight, a former cruiserweight, meaning he's a small heavyweight, and I believe he's even smaller than Usyk, to tell you the truth. I have, however, seen Dubois versus Joe Joyce and Dubois versus Usyk also, and my verdict on that fight is Dubois. He went down with versus Joe Joyce, who is a much bigger heavyweight than Lorena, and Joe Joyce essentially went down with, you know, what is was rumored to be a broken orbital bone. Very, very dangerous industry. I mean injury. So for him to go down for that, I don't really blame him for going down and staying down in order to save his career, essentially, and to save his own health. You know, I know a lot of people are saying he quit. Maybe he did quit, maybe he did not. But one thing I do know, he definitely quit against Usyk, because the punch Usyk KO'd him with was not a hard punch at all. And I believe that if he just had just a little bit much more stronger mental fortitude, you would have been able to withstand that, especially when he has seen already that he could hurt Usyk after dropping Usyk in the fifth round and having the referee give him time to recover. I believe without that recovery time, Usyk possibly would not have got up, and Dubois would have been declared the winner via TKO, guys. But you know, Hrgović also, I have to talk about Hrgović. However, of recent, Dubois has shown to have to be much more durable than, you know, than he was in the Usyk fight. He seems to have tweaked and fixed a few things about his durability, and we saw that in the Miller fight, you know, and we also saw that in the Hrgović fight. But however, I must stress that Hrgović is not a big puncher like that, and he was not really those punches I saw were just bouncing off Dubois, and also they looked very, very light compared to the big heavyweights who I've seen fight, like Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, the Dubois even. You know, it's not the same, guys. It just doesn't feel like Hrgović has that type of destructive power. Is more of an accumulation of punches that would finally break you down. And also with Miller, in Dubois' fight with Miller, Miller might be a very, very big man, 300 pounds and over. But one thing about Miller, I do know, he uses a lot of jabs, and most of his punches, his power punches, they hardly have any weight behind him, guys. He does not use that weight behind his punches. So his punches are nowhere near as strong as Joshua's, and I believe that Miller could get you out of the ring. No, not believe, but this is just what I've observed from his fights. He can get you out of there definitely, but it's more to do with an accumulation, and that essentially just tires you out and drains you out of your energy until you just have just that little bit left, just that you can't sustain anymore. So yeah, that's what Miller does to you. But however, durability also requires a high mental fortitude as much as it requires physicality, guys. You know, so it's more to do with just a physical thing. And we saw you know, we've seen both fighters unraveled before. We saw Joshua unravel versus Andy Ruiz. When he got hit, it's like, oh no, I don't like that. And Anthony Joshua felt the shock of, the possibility of him losing, and that kind of, I believe, frightened him and scared him to the point where he could not get himself back together again in a firefight. So I've seen Joshua unravel before. I've also seen Dubois unravel before. against Usyk. And I've given that example already, but I think it's essential for this part of the talk as well. Joshua, however, is looking more mentally switched on, seems to have more stronger mental fortitude as of now, and so does Dubois, guys. After Dubois, after beating Hrgovic, and Miller is looking very confident. So his mental fortitude is, he's gonna come into the fight very strong, I believe. And if Joshua turns up with the same mental attitude, same mental fortitude as he had against Klitschko, he is very dangerous. For me, it's even for now between between both of the fighters, and we may find out later after the fight who is in fact more durable between the two, and of course which one of the two has better punch resistance. People are saying AJ is chinny. I don't think AJ is chinny at all. I just believe that Ruiz just caught him at a time when his losing has never ever crossed his mind, and he got caught, and the surprise, I believe, is what took him out. The surprise alone. People don't know what surprise can do to people. It can have you just mentally discombobulated, mentally confused. I hate that word, discombobulated. Mentally confused, especially in a firefight. Oh boy, you know what I'm talking about. Dubois punch resistance. He's got great punch resistance, guys. We've seen that with Big Baby Miller, and we have seen that as well with Hrgovic. But like I said, they are not really big punches. So I'll give a draw on that one. Durability and punch resistance, I'll give that a draw. And like I said, we're not gonna be able to find out. For now, I'll give it a draw, but we will find out after the fight who has the better durability and punch resistance. As of aggression, they're both very aggressive, but AJ has more controlled aggression, where he picks his shots, knows what he's doing at every time. That's what it looks like. He knows what he's doing, and he's the better finisher in the midst of his aggression. So he's more useful with his aggression, whereas Dubois is more a little bit wild with it, just trying to hit whatever he can get to get the finish. So I'll give aggression to AJ, not because he's just more aggressive. They're both very aggressive. You can't pick one out of the two, but in terms and how they use their aggression, is AJ for sure. So I'm picking AJ there. And speed and agility, both are very fast, but I think AJ is just takes this one. Is the quicker, is definitely the quicker one out of AJ and Dubois. AJ is definitely for me the quicker one, so I'll give it to AJ. Also, he's more agile and a lot more smoother in his movement than Dubois is. Dubois, on the other hand, has a more of a little stiffer and a bit of a clunky type of movement, a bit robotic when he moves. It's like every step, you can count every step that he makes, whereas AJ is more finesse, very smooth with it. It's like I don't know, he has more rhythm with his movement, yeah, so that goes to say that AJ, of course, has the better footwork. AJ also has better upper body movement, moves his head pretty well, and while Dubois just stays there and just asking for you to hit him. But in the Usyk fight, at the beginning, at the early stages of the fight, he was moving his head quite well, but he did not carry that into the Hrgovic fight for some reason. Maybe Hrgovic's abilities were causing him a problem in that fight, but in the Miller fight, he moved reasonable well, but it was mostly his feet doing the work there, not upper body movement. But when it comes to footwork and upper body movement, AJ hands down. And also AJ's hand and foot speed is more up there as well than Dubois. He's got hands down better footwork and better hand speed, better foot speed. But he can also box, guys. He's definitely by far the better boxer. Puts combinations well, has trademarks. He even uses the pull counter now and again, and he does it very swiftly. AJ, again, in terms of speed and agility, has better timing also. And he's the quicker, like, mental operator, guys. When you see Joshua in a ring, you can tell that Joshua is a thinking man, because when he does something, sometimes you're like, oh, that's sublime. You know what I mean? So AJ, definitely the better, mental operator. Better IQ, better ring IQ, better fight IQ. Is just has the more greater IQ than Dubois in terms of fighting. Dubois sometimes just seems stuck and don't know what to do at times, to tell you the truth. He doesn't, like in that Hrgovic fight, it was just pure sheer determination, I believe, that carried him through. But would that determination carry him through this time, though? I don't know. But speed and agility, hands down, AJ. And the cause that they've both gone through to reach here after both losing to Usyk, hands down, Dubois had a much tougher cause than AJ. AJ's fight cause included utter walling, and then who was the fighter that Deontay Wilder fought? Robert Helenius, and he finished them both. And also Francis Ngannou. One thing I got to say about Robert Helenius and Francis Ngannou, and Otto Wallin, tailor-made for Anthony Joshua, guys. Tailor-made. And I think it's just a fight for him to get his confidence back, get his aggressiveness and his old way of fighting, a power puncher, all that good stuff, get it all back, And of course, they had in mind, and their plan, of course, was to face Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder at some point, because these fights were heavily being called for. So they needed a few opponents, common opponents, to Fury and Deontay Wilder, so that they can be able to measure and gauge as to how Joshua might do against both those fighters. And Ngannou also one of them that they can use to compare with Fury's performance. But Ngannou, however, totally inexperienced in boxing, despite how well he did against Tyson Fury. So yes, speed and agility, I'm giving it, sorry guys, the cause of the fight, the cause that they took to reach this position, I'm giving it to Dubois, hands down, after beating Hrgovic and Gerald Big Baby Miller. I believe much tougher fighters than Otto Wallin and Robert Helenius and even Francis Ngannou. I gotta put him in there as well. So let me go to skills and experience. But for sure, hands down, this is AJ, guys. Has more experience being champions, being a champion in the heavyweight division, two-time champion in the heavyweight division, has collected all the belts except from one. So he's been in more title fights, been in more title defenses, and being in more big stage fights, and has earned more money, of course. But I might ask, with all this experience, how much AJ has earned? Is he as hungry as Daniel Dubois? We know is very, very hungry, guys. And but where Dubois lacks in experience is the big stage fights. He's never been a champion, and he's only fought for a title once against Usyk, and he lost that fight. You know, well, so in terms of experience, guys, I'll give it to Anthony Joshua hands down. He just wins. You know, skill wise, he wins. Better combination fighter, I've spoken about that already. More speed, better movement, has better ring IQ, just knows the ring much better than Dubois does. Better boxer, can box on the outside, can come in the inside and rough you up, or pick very neat and technical combination punches to get you out of the ring. Let's hope though that the magnitude of this occasion does not get to Daniel Dubois because of his experience. But AJ wins in that department, hands down, on skills and experience. So final verdict, I say that if Dubois can land on AJ, land his biggest punches on AJ, and if AJ can't take it, then it's night for AJ. However, if AJ can take those punches, then it's going to be either AJ can box through the whole entire 12 rounds, win by unanimous decision, or even KO Dubois, I'll say, in round 8. If the fight goes that way, it's going to be in about round 8. If and I've said already, if AJ can't take it, you know that already. If AJ can land big, yeah, and you know, and can't take it, or if they can take each other's hardest punches, then AJ, I mean, if what I really meant to say is that if AJ can land big and Dubois can't take it, or if they can take each other's hardest punches, yeah, I think AJ wins on skills, you know, and boxing ability. You might get unanimous decision, and in the former, AJ by KO, if Dubois can't take his punches, he's definitely gonna win by KO, and I would say inside 6 or even 4 rounds, you know. And one more thing I want to talk about, as the sparring rumors have been you know, have been confirmed to be true, even by AJ indirectly, when he says Dubois caught him with a good punch and he owes him one. So that's an admittance there, you know. Then AJ really needs to box well and possibly tire out Dubois before going inside dangerously, trying to KO Dubois. But however, Dubois is a live dog. How long do you want a live dog to be in there? So you might have to take him out early anyway. You have to find a way to take him out early. But that is the danger that AJ will be facing in this fight. A live dog who is a big puncher. But finally though, I got AJ within 6. But I'll go for 5 rounds. AJ wins by KO, 5 rounds, guys.